Living paycheck to paycheck can be incredibly stressful. It's hard to feel like you're making any progress when you're just barely making ends meet. But the good news is, there are things you can do to change that. By implementing a few simple frugal tips, you can start saving money and gaining control over your finances. So get ready to take some notes because these tips are going to change your financial game. Let's get started. Frugal tip U1. Create a budget and stick to it. First, let's talk about why creating a budget is so important. A budget is like a map for your money. It helps you see where your money is going and where you can make adjustments to save more. By setting a budget, you're setting financial goals for yourself and figuring out how to reach them. Now, let's talk about how to create a budget that works for you. The first step is to figure out how much money you have coming in and going out. This means tracking all your income and expenses for at least a month. Once you have that information, you can start to see where your money is going and where you can make adjustments. Next, create categories for your spending, such as housing, transportation, food, and entertainment. Once you have your categories, you can start setting a budget for each one. Make sure to include a little wiggle room in your budget for unexpected expenses. Finally, the key to sticking to your budget is to make it a habit. Review your budget regularly and make adjustments as needed. Use apps or tools to help you stay on track. And most importantly, be consistent and persistent. Frugal tip 2. Shop at discount stores and thrift shops. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but won't the quality be lower at discount stores and thrift shops? But let me tell you, you'll be surprised at the amazing deals you can find. Discount stores and thrift shops are great places to find everyday items at a fraction of the cost. From clothing to household items to furniture, you can find great deals at these types of stores. The key is to know what to look for and where to find it. Start by checking out your local discount stores, like Dollar General or Family Dollar. These stores often have deals on everyday items like food, cleaning supplies, and personal care items. You can also find great deals on clothing and shoes. Next, don't overlook thrift shops. These stores are great places to find gently used clothing, furniture, and household items at a fraction of the cost. You might have to dig a little, but the deals you can find are well worth it. Here are a few tips for shopping at discount stores and thrift shops. Make a list of what you need before you go. Check for coupons and deals before you shop. Look for items that are slightly damaged or have slight imperfections. They are often priced lower. Don't be afraid to haggle. You can often negotiate the price. Frugal tip 3. Cook at home instead of eating out. Eating out can be incredibly expensive, especially if you're doing it multiple times a week. By cooking at home, you have more control over the ingredients and can make healthier choices. Not only that, but it can save you a lot of money. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average American spends about $3,459 on eating out every year. That's a lot of money that could be used for other things. Now, let's talk about how to make cooking at home more manageable. One of the key things is meal planning. By planning your meals ahead of time, you can make sure you have all the ingredients you need and avoid the last-minute takeout. Next, make a grocery list and stick to it. Avoid impulse buys and stick to the essentials. You can also save money by buying in bulk and by purchasing ingredients that are in season. Finally, don't be afraid to get creative with leftovers. Find ways to repurpose leftovers into new meals. This is a great way to save money and reduce food waste. Frugal tip 4. Use cash instead of credit cards. Credit cards can be incredibly dangerous because they make it easy to spend more than you can afford. It's easy to lose track of how much you're spending, and before you know it, you're in debt. By using cash instead, you're more aware of how much you're spending, and it's harder to overspend and it's harder to overspend. Another benefit of using cash is that it's a physical reminder of the money you're spending. When you use a credit card, it's easy to forget about the cost of the purchase. But when you're handing over cash, it's a tangible reminder that you're spending money. Now, let's talk about how to make the switch to cash. The first step is to figure out how much you're currently spending on credit cards. This will give you an idea of how much cash you need to withdraw. Next, start withdrawing cash for specific expenses like groceries or entertainment. When the cash is gone, it's gone. This will help you stick to a budget and avoid overspending. Finally, don't be afraid to ask for cash back. Many retailers will give you cash back when you make a purchase with a debit card. Frugal tip 5. Use public transportation or carpool instead of driving alone. We'll get to that in a second. I have a favor to ask of you. If you like this video so far, please subscribe to the channel, but the journey doesn't end here. If you're ready to start improving your financial well-being, take action now. Check the first link in the description for our Frugal Living ebook. Our comprehensive guide covers everything you need to know about living a frugal and rewarding life, including creating a budget, identifying areas for cost cutting, and finding affordable alternatives to everyday expenses. It's never too late to start making smart financial decisions. Driving your own car can be incredibly expensive, especially if you're doing it every day. The cost of gas, insurance, and maintenance can add up quickly. By using public transportation or carpooling, you can save a lot of money on transportation. Not only that, but it's also better for the environment. Now, let's talk about how to make the switch to public transportation or carpooling. First, check out your local public transportation options. Many cities have buses and trains that are affordable and convenient. Next, consider carpooling with coworkers or friends. Not only will you save money on gas, but you'll also save money on tolls and parking. Here are a few tips for using public transportation or carpooling. Plan your routes ahead of time. Invest in a reusable transit card or monthly pass to save money in the long run. Use ride-sharing apps like Uber or Lyft to save money on transportation. Frugal tip 6. Negotiate bills and contracts. Many bills and contracts, such as your cable, internet, cell phone, and even rent, can be negotiated. By taking the time to negotiate, you can save a lot of money in the long run. Now, let's talk about how to negotiate bills and contracts. First, do your research. Know your options and have an idea of what other companies are offering. This will give you leverage when you're negotiating. Next, be respectful and professional when you're negotiating. Remember, the person on the other end of the line is just doing their job, and you want to maintain a good relationship. Here are a few tips for negotiating. Start by asking for a better rate or deal. If they can't offer you a better rate, ask if they can throw in something extra, like a free service or a discounted rate. If they still can't offer you a better deal, consider switching to a different company. Frugal tip 7. Use apps and websites to find deals. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but I don't have time to search for deals and I don't know which apps and websites to use. But let me tell you, there are plenty of apps and websites that make it easy to find deals, and they can save you a lot of money. From coupons to cashback, apps and websites make it easy to save money on your everyday purchases. By using them, you can save a lot of money on everything from groceries to clothing to travel. Now, let's talk about some popular apps and websites for finding deals. First, check out apps like Retail Minute, Coupons, Com, and Groupon. These apps offer coupons and deals for a variety of retailers. Next, consider using cashback websites like Rakuten or Honey. These websites offer cashback on your online purchases. Here are a few tips for using apps and websites to find deals. Use multiple apps and websites to compare deals. Check for deals before you make a purchase. Be aware of expiration dates and terms and conditions. Frugal tip 8. Get a side hustle. From freelancing to renting out a spare room on Airbnb, a side hustle can be a great way to make extra money. And with the gig economy on the rise, there are more opportunities than ever before. Now, let's talk about how to find a side hustle that's right for you. First, think about your skills and interests. What are you good at? And what do you enjoy doing? This will give you an idea of what kind of side hustle to pursue. Next, consider your schedule and availability. How much time do you have to devote to a side hustle? This will help you narrow down your options. Here are a few tips for finding a side hustle. Look for opportunities online, such as freelancing platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, or TaskRabbit. Check out apps like Uber or Lyft for driving opportunity. Consider renting out a spare room on Airbnb or renting out your car on Turo. Having a side hustle is a great way to bring in extra cash, and it can be a lot of fun. It's worth considering, and it can be a great way to supplement your income. Frugal tip 9. Cut the cord on cable. Cable can be incredibly expensive, especially when you factor in all the hidden fees and extra channels you don't even watch. By cutting the cord, you can save a lot of money on entertainment. Now, let's talk about how to cut the cord on cable. First, consider streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon Prime. These services offer a wide variety of shows and movies for a fraction of the cost of cable. Next, consider streaming devices like a Roku or Amazon Fire Stick. These devices plug into your TV and allow you to stream content from a variety of apps. Here are a few tips for cutting the cord on cable. Compare the cost of streaming services to your cable bill to see how much you can save. Make sure your internet speed is fast enough to stream content smoothly. Check if you can get an antenna for free local channels. Frugal tip itten. Invest in experiences, not things. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but I love buying things, and it makes me happy. But let me tell you, investing in experiences can bring you even more joy and satisfaction than buying things. Things can be incredibly fleeting. They bring us pleasure for a moment, but then we move on. Experiences, on the other hand, create lasting memories and can have a positive impact on our lives. By investing in experiences, you're investing in your overall well-being and happiness. Now, let's talk about how to invest in experiences. First, think about the things that bring you the most joy. Is it traveling, trying new foods, or spending time with loved ones? Identify the things that make you truly happy and invest in them. Next, consider the experiences you can have on a budget. There are plenty of free or low-cost options, like hiking, visiting a local park or museum, or going to a free concert in the park. I hope you found these tips helpful and that you're feeling motivated to start making changes in your own life. Remember, it's not about depriving yourself or living a life of sacrifice. It's about making smart choices and being mindful of your spending. One important thing to keep in mind is that small changes can make a big difference. It's not necessary to implement all the tips at once. Start with one or two and work your way up